Well, we're here today in Tuskegee to visit and to work with Mother Amelia Boynton Robinson in this very historic occasion. We're members of the Schiller Institute, LaRouche Youth Movement, and we've been working with Ms. Robinson for many years now. We're here with her to go and attend the march in Selma, Alabama, commemorating the 44th anniversary of the Bloody Sunday March.
My name is Mihua Steger. I'm with the Schiller Institute and the LaRouche Youth Movement. I'm also here supporting Mother Amelia Boynton Robinson. We're going to remake history and relive the period that where she led the fight towards the Civil Rights Movement and the Voting Rights Act in 1965.
My name is Gabriela Arroyo, and I'm also here with the Schiller Institute, and I'm also here for the same reason, to celebrate in the honor of Mother Amelia Boynton Robinson.
Well, we know that this is a very important event that we will be attending in Selma, given the nature of the historic moment that we're living right now, but we also expect that we're going to see the development of a movement taking place at this period in history, in period where we also are facing the worst economic and financial crisis that people throughout the world are facing. So, given the nature of the strong forces of leadership potential that we have in the world today, we have in the United States, the question is, can we actually get a movement from the people? And so we're hoping to see a lot of people come together, lots of discussion around where we go from here.
I expect to see the Edmund Pettus Bridge. I'd also like to relive a period of history because learning from history gives you a sense of how to create the solutions, as Keisha said, for the economic crisis, and to not repeat the same mistakes that were made. So just to relive it with Amelia is going to be enough.
I expect to see some of the reenactment of what happened on Bloody Sunday, and as part of the LaRouche Youth Movement, we've been studying a lot of this history, but it's important for it to become living history in order to learn from it. As Keisha was saying, we're living in the biggest economic collapse in history right now. So in terms of what the nation is going to have to respond to, the quality of leadership I think that the Civil Rights Movement represented in the population is something that we're trying to recreate right now for people to understand some of the history and the solutions we need to act on right now.
Well, we've undergone a serious disintegration in the physical economy of the United States. Ever since, we always reference in the LaRouche Youth Movement the Franklin Roosevelt period. And from that, we've gone through a disintegration of our physical economy, and what we're opposing is a continuation of the policies that don't represent the well-being or protection of the well-being of the population. So our movement represents, along with Amelia and the history that Amelia represents, is again committing ourselves as a nation to protecting the welfare of the population, first and foremost.
I think to characterize the state of affairs right now, you have to look at where we are in history in respect to our population. What has happened to the population in their response to the reality of the crisis which we now face? Because I think the situation throughout the world is that we are, as expressed, we'll emphasize again, in the most devastating economic and financial crisis in world history. And the question of whether or not the movement in the masses of the population can rise up and demand and actually emerge as real leaders in this crisis is going to be very important. And so this is why we're here. We're here to actually make sure that we're always educating people around the solutions that have to be put forth, including solutions of Franklin Roosevelt, including understanding the history of and the leadership of Abraham Lincoln and Alexander Hamilton and the founding fathers of the United States.
It's absolutely true. The turnout of youth activity was significantly increased, particularly because you have a generation between 1825 and 1835 that developed in their adolescence through the Bush years, which really couldn't give you a very large amount of optimism. And so the capability and potential of the change created a sense of optimism we're out on the street 6 days a week organizing people around action and around creating their creative capability or developing their creative capability to act in a period of crisis.
It was definitely the decisive factor in terms of the turnout, and if you look at it historically, it's always been what pushes a nation either towards great achievements or a disintegration, as we saw in the 1960s. So a lot of the work that we're doing is to get more of the youth politically active, not just when elections come up, to get in the state of mind that, okay, now we're going to look at the state of the country, what we need to do, but to be in that political state of mind of action and taking responsibility even if they themselves aren't in a political leadership for the policies.